Hey guys, it is Monday, a little after 8, and I thought I would do another what we are eating in a week. We are more ketovore, carnivore, keto, kind of a combination of the two. More ketovore. I definitely eat more veggies and fruit than Chris does. He keeps it pretty strict. We recently had acquired CGMs, and we just started this weekend using them, so it'll definitely be interested to see how different foods affect our sugar levels without having to try and prick our fingers a million times and keep track. So we're going to be doing that. Since it is Monday, I do try and go ahead and start a couple of crock pot type meals that will go throughout the week. Sometimes they are used as a main dish and sometimes they are used as a side. And I am okay with using a couple of teaspoons of something like ranch powder or brown gravy. Some people are not okay with that, and that's fine. Do whatever you want to do. So I'm going to do a Mississippi beef roast, and I have my butter right here to go with that. The other thing I'm going to do is take this Boston butt. I think it's actually a half butt pork roast, and I am going to put some of my homemade jalapeno marinade over it. It has a little bit of sweetener into it, but I think you'll end up with just a couple of carbs if you were to eat spoonfuls of the marinade. I'm not too worried about it. And then some of my canned jalapenos. There's about half of a jar left in here. I will add that over it. I'm thinking it's not going to be too spicy. And then I'm going to throw a little butter in there. I'm also getting ready to throw some bacon in the oven. We do not have any cooked in the fridge. And then I pulled out a couple of these really thin steaks that I'm going to cook up really quick for Chris and I for our brunch. We just eat 2 meals a day. We usually eat our first meal sometime after 1, and the second one whenever I'm done with work. Then we will have that. Lots and lots of eggs. I sell eggs, so this is how I have my eggs set up. So we always have plenty of eggs. So I'm gonna go ahead and get everything going in the crock pot so it'll be done whenever I get in from work tonight and get everything else cooking. So here is breakfast all together. Eggs, cheese, steak, onions, sour cream, and butter. Hey guys, so it is Monday night, almost 8:30, a little bit later than I really wanted to be doing dinner tonight, but I worked late, and then after work, I went and worked in the gardens for a couple of hours, so I just came in, grabbed a shower, and now I am putting dinner together. I'm just gonna shred up some of this meat. This is the beef, this is the pork, and then I pulled some salad fixings out of the fridge I need to use up. So I'm just gonna make us a quick side salad and 2 kinds of meat, and that's what we're having for dinner. I'll show you once it's all dished up. All right, guys, this is dinner. I usually try and do meats that are different textures and all that, but tonight it's just late. I'm tired, so this is what we're having. We have the pork and the beef, and I have the same, and then we have a salad with lettuce, tomato, carrots, hard-boiled eggs, and bacon. So this is what we're going to have for dinner, and I will probably end up having a root beer with cream later tonight because I am just craving something sweet. Hey guys, it is Tuesday. It is later than I wanted to be starting this, but I got stuck in the office and just walked out a few minutes ago. I asked Chris what he wanted today, and we had watched Dr. Barry making like a breakfast scramble the other day on one of his little videos, like his little short videos, and he had done sausage, ground beef, eggs, and seasoning, I believe. So I think I'm gonna make Chris up something like that. He said he wants to give it a try. So I'm gonna cook up all this meat and then save some of it for later for another recipe, and then make him a breakfast scramble. So this is about cooked up. Whenever I'm able to, I double or triple what I am doing so that I can use the meat later in another purpose. So the roast I made last night, they can either be used as a side for another meal later this week, or I'm gonna turn them into tacos. I'll make cheese shells or I can turn them into burger bowls or taco bowls or like the keto green bean casserole. I may do that later this week. So I'm just getting a little bit more of this moisture. I had added bacon grease in here because the ground beef was so lean. This was from a chuck roll that Chris and I had ground ourselves, and I will link that up in the corner if you want to know how to break down a chuck roll for ground beef. But we had done that, so I'm going to separate this off and get a little bit of this moisture out of here, and I added a little bit of water just to unstick the bottom and get the rest of this bacon bowl made. Okay guys, lunch is taking me way longer than it normally does. I keep getting calls and getting distracted. I kept about a quarter of the meat still here in the pan, and I scrambled up about 6 eggs, I guess, and added it in, and I'm just getting this all mixed in. I had to shred some cheese, so that took a little while, and then I warmed up some bacon so that I can have crumbles on top, and pulled out some sour cream. So this is almost done. I'm gonna get it plated up for Chris, make myself something really quick, and head back to work after I get this stuff all put away. All right, this is Chris's breakfast bowl: beef, ground sausage, scrambled eggs, bacon, shredded cheddar, and sour cream. All right, I'm gonna get this to him, head back to work. So this is what I ended up doing. I didn't make mine all pretty. Oh, there's my phone's ringing, but this is what I have for brunch today. Hey guys, it is a little after 7. And I am working on dinner. This is not something we normally have. Actually, Chris hates these. So the neighbor brought me some and asked if I would make them when he has stuff that his wife really hates. He'll bring them to me and knows I will cook them for him. But I do not make Brussels sprouts very often. So I'm gonna make them 2 different ways and see which way is the best, and see if Chris wants to sample some of them. So I'm gonna get the Brussels sprouts going first. I'm gonna do them with bacon in a cast iron skillet and bacon grease and bacon and seasoning. And then I'm gonna do them with olive oil and garlic and some balsamic vinegar and Parmesan cheese roasted in the oven. So I'm gonna get those going first. And then the next thing I'm gonna do, these are the roasts that I had last night, and I'm gonna warm those up and make us some mozzarella shells and do some kind of like tacos with the shredded meat. So just reusing meat we had last night. So let me get these all separated and dinner started. Okay guys, this is Chris's dinner. I know it doesn't look too fancy. The beef is on the left, the pork is on the right. He has 2 kinds of Brussels sprouts here to try. A little bit of sour cream on top of the meat, topped with, I think each of them had 2 cherry tomatoes. And then I made him some mozzarella cheese crisps, bites, whatever you want to call them, to dip up the meat and sour cream. So I have my pans of Brussels sprouts here, and I'm gonna run those to the neighbor and then come back and make my plate. Well, here's my dinner. It is almost 9 o'clock. It is not pretty, and I don't even know if I'm really gonna eat. It's like one of those that you're too tired to eat. I may just go get something to drink, and I'll see if I want any of this, but if not, I'm just gonna go get a drink and call it a night. So yeah, I'm pretty much too tired for dinner. I just want something cold. I asked Chris if he wanted coffee. I made him a cup of coffee, and whoever put in my comment section, I don't remember the name, to put heavy cream in root beer. Amazing. But what I started doing is frothing it in a mason jar, just dumping some in the bottom, frothing it up till it's thick, putting a little crushed ice, and then dumping the root beer, and it is absolutely like a root beer float. Amazing. And this is gonna mainly be my dinner tonight. So, all right, we'll see what tomorrow brings. Hey guys, so it is almost 3 o'clock. I think it's about 2:45 right now. I have been in and out of my office all day long. never really got a chance to take much of a break, but I just came back from an appointment and ran through Wendy's and grabbed a couple of their burger patties. I just get them plain with nothing. Came back to the office. I had cheese here and some mayos and some pickles, so that is what I'm gonna have. I dropped Chris off some burger patties. He did the same thing with some ketchup and mustard. So this is what we are doing for lunch today before I have to head out the door again. Hey guys, it is Wednesday night, and again, a pretty late night. I am really dragging. I just came in from the office a couple minutes ago. I had run in, put up this like green bean low carb casserole, like a keto casserole, because it has green beans, cream cheese, ground beef, onions, and some seasoning all mixed together. I used up some of that ground beef. I had ground beef sausage mix that I had previously made, something I could throw together really quick, toss in the oven, head back to work for a little while it was cooking, and then come in when it was done. So it's almost 9. I had one lone boiled egg in the fridge left, and I'm gonna cut that up and salt it for Chris. And I think this is all we're gonna do tonight. I had some unsweetened applesauce. I usually make my own. I know that is not even really keto, but I don't know. I get to the point where I am just so tired that I'm not really hungry and I just want something cold. And so I may end up having some unsweetened applesauce with my dinner tonight. So I don't think Chris is going to have this, but I'm gonna give him egg and casserole and he will be good with that. All right, so this is Chris's dinner. If he wants some pork roast or some bacon, it is in there. I could scramble him some eggs, but I have a feeling he is going to be good just with this, and we are gonna eat and wrap up the evening. And this is my dinner. I don't know, when I get like this that I am just so tired, I'd much rather just drink something or eat something cold. So I know I need to eat some real food though. So I'm gonna eat this, have my applesauce and an Element, and call it a night. Hey guys, it is 1:15 on Thursday. I have to remember what day it's on. Chris has a doctor's appointment in 45 minutes, so I need to make him something really quick so that he can eat and make it to his appointment. So I just pulled some of these brown and served sausages. I know they're not super clean, but it's okay. I'm gonna warm him some of those up, make him some eggs real quick so he can eat and get to his appointment. All right, and there is Chris's brunch, super fast. I'm not sure what I'm gonna have. If I make something for myself, I will include it next. Okay guys, this is what I'm having for lunch. I know it is not very ketovore. The idea of anything hot, I just couldn't do today, and I just really wanted an apple. So I sliced up an apple, have some ham, have some sliced sharp cheddar cheese, and water. So this is what I'm gonna snack on back at my desk in the office, and we'll see what we do for dinner tonight. Hey guys, so it is another late night and we are just doing leftovers. I had a couple of those Wendy's burger patties I just warmed up, and I'm gonna make those with some cheese and bacon, some of that keto green bean casserole I made, and some of the pork roast. We're gonna top it with cheese, and then Chris will eat mayo, mustard, ketchup with his, and I will just have some pickles and mayo and cheese with my burger. I'll show you what it looks like once everything is plated up. So this is Chris's, and here is my dinner. After picking through that pork that was left over, there really wasn't hardly any left, so I just gave it all to Chris, and there was plenty of the green bean casserole and a burger patty, and then I'm gonna have some pickles and mayo. Hey guys, it is almost 1:30 on Friday, and I am gonna make Chris some like scrambled bowls this morning. So this is the leftover ground beef and ground sausage with onion that I had cooked up previously. Quite a bit of that left. This is some bacon, The only shredded cheese I have, either cheese that I've shredded or purchased, is mozzarella and Parmesan. So I am just going to use some of this cheese that we usually do on burgers. As you can see, I have plenty of eggs. So I'm going to get this all warmed up and cooking and get him a breakfast bowl made. All right, this is Chris's brunch. That's probably 3, maybe 4 eggs. Not all the giant eggs, but some of them smaller. Some of them are my baby eggs, and we just kind of mix them up. And that is ground beef, ground sausage, a little bit of onion, scrambled eggs, some cheese, some bacon, a little bit of sour cream. And then I gave him a scoop of cottage cheese with, I think, 4 or 5 blueberries on top. And this is what I am having today. There was probably, I guess, 2 eggs or so left, scrambled up in with the meat mixture, same as Chris's. And then I added a little more cottage cheese and a few more blueberries to mine with a giant glass of water. Hey guys, so it is a little before 7, and I probably am not going to show you actually plated meals as to what we're eating because I'm kind of snacking and walking while I work. Chris is feeling okay, and he was able to grill us up some flanken ribs, and this is something called shoulder steak. I've never seen it at the meat market before. They had some on sale. I picked it up. We're gonna try this, and he has some wings on the grill. I don't know if we're gonna have the wings tonight or have them tomorrow night. But while I'm working, I'm just literally coming by, grabbing a piece of meat and walking around with it and eating it while I work in the house. So that is kind of what we're gonna be doing tonight. So flanken ribs, shoulder steak, and then maybe some wings off the grill. Hey guys, I hit Winn-Dixie this morning, and this is what I ended up with for a Carnivore grocery haul. Look here in the corner, and I will have that posted. Hey guys, so it is Saturday afternoon, a little after 4. I honestly wasn't gonna eat anything until dinner later tonight. Chris and I were gonna watch the fights, cook some wings, and have that, but I just got to be absolutely starving. Chris had coffee this morning. I just had water, but I'm starving, so I just cooked us up some steak. I'm just rewarming it in butter. I'm gonna add some salt, and we're just gonna have a bowl of steak, and then later tonight, sometime after 7, we'll probably grill those wings. All right, so that's what I'm having, and a glass of tea. All right guys, it is about 8:30, and these are 2 different kinds of wings that Chris did on the grill, some flanken ribs and a little bit of butter garlic dipping sauce. Hey guys, it is Sunday morning, a little before 12. Normally we are not eating this early, but Trevelyn is home this weekend. She is starving. She's used to eating at like 6 o'clock in the morning, so I'm sure she had a snack already at some point. So she specifically asked that I make her some of these gluten-free pumpkin muffins to take back, and so I pulled out my whole bin of my keto baking stuff. So I'm gonna make her pumpkin muffins, which it looks like we can definitely have some. The carb count is pretty darn low on them, so I'm gonna make those, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get 1 pack of bacon cooked up for the week, and then I'm gonna cook up some sausage links and make some scrambled eggs, and I'll probably go ahead and boil eggs while I'm cooking everything else, so we'll have those for the week also. And here is Chris's lunch: scrambled eggs, bacon, and sausage. Trevelyan's pumpkin pancake things, I don't know, it's a weird recipe. I'm not gonna give any to Chris. I don't think it's worth the carbs or calories. I might try one, but they are not wanting to turn out very well, so I'm not too worried about those. And her pumpkin muffins are still in the oven, and those are made regular with real sugar, so those will all go home with her. All right, well, this is what I'm having for my brunch. I know it doesn't look as appetizing now because it's cold. I've been working on this other stuff, getting eggs to go home with Trev, our boiled eggs, Trevelyan's pumpkin muffins, bacon, sausage. All this is gonna get packed up as soon as it is completely cool. Hey guys, I thought I would just show you how we do our coffee before brunch. I don't have video of our Sunday night dinner. We actually went out to eat and I did not film that. We went to a Mexican restaurant and I had carne asada, and I don't remember exactly what Chris's meal was called, but I know it had like a ground beef base to it. So that is what we had on Sunday night, but since I did not film that, I thought I would just show you what we do for coffee. I don't usually do coffee every day. I'd much rather just do a tea, but when I do, I pretty much do it the same way. So I have Chris's coffee in here. Use your sweetener of choice. And then the one thing I add to his coffee other than half and half is 2 drops of the Lugal's iodine. And then you see I have a little shot glass here. And when I give him his coffee, I also give him a whole dropper full, or whatever you suck up in here, a dropper full of lemon balm, and then a dropper full of the methylated vitamin B complex, and then I just add a little bit of water to this, and he just tosses it back like a shot. I just take these by the dropper in my mouth. It's not too strong for me, and I just do mine like that. But I thought I would just give you a glimpse of how we do our coffee. Usually we have these 11:30, something along those lines, and then I end up making lunch 12:30, 1 o'clock, somewhere around there. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day.